Hello and welcome to Sensational South. I'm Harish Upadhyaya. Over the next 30 minutes, we bring you all the major stories and newsmakers from South India. Our top story is one that has been festering for decades now. The battle between Maharashtra and Karnataka over Belagavi has come to the fore once again this winter. Supreme Court is all geared up to hear the matter. My colleague Ritu brings his ground report on the status at the border.
It's a border dispute that has been unresolved for decades now. Ever since the boundaries were demarcated along linguistic lines under the States Reorganization Act of 1956. Maharashtra has claimed that 814 villages and towns of Belagavi, Karwad and Nipani should be part of its territory and approached the Supreme Court in 2004. Karnataka has argued that the 1967 Mahajan Commission report is the final word on the dispute, and has instead demanded that certain villages in Kolhapur, Sholapur and Sangli districts of Maharashtra be included in Karnataka. CNN News 18 travelled to Belagavi, a city with a population of around 6 lakhs, now being claimed by the Maharashtra side. Language sentiments aside, politics seems to be overriding the issue.
महाराष्ट्र एकीकरण समिति है जो 60 साल पहले यहाँ पे वो ऑर्गेनाइज हुई थी, उनका ये डिमांड था कि बेलगाम महाराष्ट्र को जाना चाहिए। लेकिन जब इंदिरा गांधी के दौर पे महाजन कमीशन को अपॉइंट किया गया, महाजन कमीशन ने रिपोर्ट दिया कि 200 से ज़्यादा जो गांव हैं वो महाराष्ट्र से कर्नाटका को आना चाहिए और 200 से ज़्यादा जो गांव है वो कर्नाटक से महाराष्ट्र को जाना चाहिए और बेलगाम कर्नाटक में रहना चाहिए। ऐसा रिपोर्ट महाजन कमीशन ने दिया था, लेकिन उसको भी महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट में भी नहीं माना और महाराष्ट्र एकीकरण जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वही भी नहीं माना। तो इनको ये मुद्दा क्यों आज तक जिंदा है? क्योंकि ये बॉर्डर इश्यू को ये लैंग्वेज इश्यू बनाकर ये पॉलिटिकली स्टंट बनाना चाहते हैं।
The Maharashtra Ekikaran Samiti, a pro-Maharashtra outfit, has contested in several elections and in the recent past has made gains electorally in the border district, whether it is in the local body elections or assembly elections. MES in fact calls the Mahajan Commission report unfair and biased. The commission formed by the central government in 1966 by the centre, the MES says it's not about politics but development.
Maharashtra Ekikaran Samiti is not raising this point only at the election time. We are raising this point from last 66 years. Every year, 1st June, 17th January and this 1st November, on which day we are observing Black Day. After getting the education also, we are not getting the services. What development they have done, please show us.
With Karnataka heading to elections early next year and the Mahavikas Aghadi mounting pressure on the Eknath Shinde government, heads of both the states have been more vocal about protecting their respective interests. This is despite the BJP being in power in both the states.
ಎರಡು ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಈ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಬರೋದು ಸೂಕ್ತ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬರಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಸಂದೇಶವನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಆ ಸಂದೇಶವನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಬಾರಿಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳಾದಾಗ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನು ಕ್ರಮ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅದೇ ಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
त्यांनी काही दावा ठोकला तरी देखील महाराष्ट्रातलं एकही गाव जाणार नाही आणि आमचा सीमा भाग आम्हाला परत मिळेल ही मला अपेक्षा.
As Karnataka heads into an assembly elections, the Karnataka-Maharashtra border dispute has once again come into the light. Now, Maharashtra is claiming almost 865 Marathi-speaking villages from Karnataka to be included into the Maharashtra. But meanwhile, Karnataka state government is saying that the Marathi-speaking people are well protected in the state. Now, on the other hand, the Kannada activists are saying that it is completely a political stunt. Now, the Maharashtra Ekikaran Samiti, which was established in almost after 1956, is saying that even though the state government is ready to give them all kinds of the facility, they would still want to be included into the Maharashtra. Now, however, the matter is pending in front of the Supreme Court. With video journalist Ritu in Belagavi for CNN News 18.
Yes, there is politics over it. Will the Supreme Court entertain the plea of Maharashtra? Can there be a solution from the Supreme Court? Or will we have to wait for a political solution? We'll debate this. Our eminent panel joins us today. We have Mr. Chetan Jiral, a Kannada activist. We have Mr. Shubham Sherke, the MES Youth Wing President, joining us. We have Mr. Sanket Yanagi, a Supreme Court advocate, someone who also comes from this region of Belagavi. I'll come to you, Mr. Yanagi, first. The argument of Karnataka is that this petition is not maintainable. The court can't decide the borders. It's the parliament which has the authority. How do you see this panning in front of the Supreme Court?
The power to form a new state or alteration of any existing state, of the state boundaries, or the names or renaming of any of the existing states is vesting with the parliament only under Article 3 of the Constitution of India. And no court has any jurisdiction, no authority has any jurisdiction to decide this issue. The power is exclusively vested with the parliament, and parliament alone is competent to decide this issue, whether it could be the merger of the two states, or it could be the alteration of the boundaries, whether it is inclusion or deletion of any of the districts or taluks or villages, or in any way alteration of any of the districts or any boundaries, or inclusion or exclusion of any of the villages into the new state or an existing state, that all power vests only with the parliament. Here in this given case of Belagavi, since the matter had already reached the parliament earlier, the Justice Mahajan Commission was constituted by the parliament, and the parliament, in exercise of its powers under Article 3, having constituted a committee inquired, submitted a report which is amenable before the parliament for implementation under Article 3, and parliament alone has got a power to decide once it has been tabled before the parliament. No authority, including the Supreme Court, has any power to interfere in this issue. That is what the law says. And more so, secondly, the State Reorganization Act, the State Reorganization Act is also passed the test of constitutionality and is also an enactment flowing from Article 12 of the Constitution. So any law made by the Parliament is also amenable to the provisions of the Constitution. State Reorganization Act clearly says it is in terms of the provisions of the Constitution the law has been made, and the Constitution or establishment or naming of Bombay state into the Maharashtra state and fixing of its boundaries is also governed by the provisions of the Constitution. No authority, including the Supreme Court, with great respect, has any authority to interfere. That's it.
Yes, in fact, that has been the basic argument of the state of Karnataka. Mr. Shubham, the MES says it's looking forward to some sort of a solution from the Supreme Court, but you have the Karnataka side making it very clear that the basis of this petition itself is flawed.
No, instead of making such irresponsible statements, the Karnataka government should represent their statement in Supreme Court itself, because since 2004 the case is pending in Supreme Court. Now they are telling that Supreme Court cannot decide that they have no rights to change the boundaries of the states. Okay, so after so many years you have realized that if the Supreme Court does not have rights, then why should Karnataka government sit quiet for so many years?
Okay, I'll go to Chetan Jiraj. Chetan, MES says they enjoy support. The struggle enjoys the support of Marathi-speaking population in Belagavi. Do you think Karnataka has done enough to ensure that this Mahajan Commission report, which was finalized, is also implemented? Over the last few decades, has the state done enough to ensure it's implemented?
Well, we'll have to look this issue in different angles, right? I mean, it's not black and white to say that, because there are multiple views on how things have been going in Maharashtra or in Karnataka related to the border issue, right? The first thing, probably what we'll need to understand is that the Mahajan Commission was constituted because Maharashtra government did argue and then went to the parliament to ask to have a commission set up to resolve the border issue. And on behalf of Maharashtra's insistence, the commission was set up, and once the report came out, that's when Maharashtra backfired, saying that they won't agree to what Mahajan report says. On the contrary, I mean, we do agree that, I mean, we cannot keep on having these quarrels going on for decades, right? I mean, it's of no use for anybody. the first thing that
Yes.
we'll have to understand is that we have been fighting for this for decades, and then we don't have a resolution. That's one part to it. And the other part, the Kannadigas and Marathis in the Karnataka region have been living in harmony, except for the organizations like MES trying to rake up the issues now and then. I don't see that the common people on the ground live in harmony, and then they have got a great existence together. I mean, it's just the political agendas, like as you rightly pointed out. The 2023 elections are coming up, and then MES wants to gain some ground on the border region, saying that okay, we'll give you XYZ once we go to Maharashtra, which is never going to happen, right? Because I think we did hear from.
But can there be ever a solution to this?
Well, the solution is it
can
has
we
to be
ever
an
have a
amicable
solution to this,
right?
even if it's a political one?
It should be amicable. I mean, I don't think we have as I said, like we cannot have something decided in the courts, because it's more of an emotional issue, right? I mean, it's not that we draw a line and then it's done. I mean, it doesn't work in that way. So it has to be an amicable solution, and then there is emotional connect for Kannadigas as well as Marathis with the region, right? And it's not that if somebody a Marathi growing up, born and brought up in Karnataka, would easily say that okay, I go to Maharashtra today and then I become a Maharashtrian. No, it doesn't work that way, right? So there is an emotional connect for the people in Belagavi and people around the Belagavi, right? And also we see that there was, probably you might have seen people in Maharashtra in the border regions like Jat, Akalkot, they were demanding that instead of them being in Maharashtra, they want to move to Karnataka.
Absolutely.
Because
I want to in fact take that
yeah.
point too, Shubham. Mr. Shubham, we have seen the protests happening in Jat Taluk of Sangli district in Maharashtra and other places where residents there want to join Karnataka. They want their villages to be made part of Karnataka. How would Maharashtra respond to that?
No, their issue is totally different. They are saying that they have they have a question of water, because if Maharashtra government give them water, then they have no issues in Maharashtra. Okay, the Mysal water that the Mysal Yojana is going to provide it soon in that area. But our issue is pretty much different. Our issue is to merge our Belgaum in Maharashtra itself, because ये दोनों चीजें टोटली डिफरेंट है. अगर उनको पानी मिल गया तो उनका इशू वहीं पे खत्म हो जाएगा. मगर यहाँ पे जो है ये लैंग्वेज बेस्ड जो स्टेट्स फॉर्म हुए थे, तब मराठी भाषिक जो एरिया है उस पे अन्याय हुआ था. तो जब तक हम लोग महाराष्ट्र में शामिल नहीं हुए थे, इशू खत्म नहीं हो सकता. और इंस्टेड ऑफ रनिंग अवे फ्रॉम द इशू, कर्नाटक गवर्नमेंट शुड फाइट इन सुप्रीम कोर्ट इटसेल्फ.
Okay, yes, the Supreme Court is likely to take up this petition very soon. Thanks a lot for joining us, Mr. Shubham Sherke, Mr. Chetan Jiral, as well as Mr. Sanket Yanagi. This is an issue that will get dragged on for a number of months and perhaps even years to come. Well, moving on to our super big exclusive. Well, Telangana is one of the states where the governor and the government are not seeing eye to eye. Speaking exclusively to CNN News 18's Maria Shakil, Tamil Sai Soundaranjan said that the TRS government is undermining the office of the governor.
You are saying that the state government is acting like a dictator. The state government on the other side, ma'am, says that you have been sitting over the bills. The allegation is that your office is delaying key legislation.
Definitely, I don't accept that allegation, because I was the one who repeatedly told that 14 vice chancellors posts were vacant. When I came as a governor to Telangana, 13 posts of the vice chancellors were vacant. Repeatedly, I was forcing the government to appoint vice chancellors, and because of my consistent efforts, they appointed 13 vice chancellors. Then I was the one who had an interaction with the vice chancellors and informed the government more than 50 to 60 teaching and non-teaching posts are vacant. But they were not responding to that. But because they are going to face the election, immediately they want to deviate from the usual procedure and they want to carry out a new procedure, which even the UGC is opposing. I am not sitting on the bill. I am evaluating the bill. I am evaluating how it will be useful to the people and how the transparency will be maintained and how there won't be any biased activities and how the eligible candidates will be recruited. So whenever a governor has the right to sign a bill, the governor also has the right to access and evaluate the bill.
Well, time for a short break now. On the other side, we'll get you another exclusive interview. This time, it's with actor Adivsesh.